I've seen you talk about influencer marketing. I'm a personal injury attorney. How can I use influencer marketing to help market my firm? Um, that's a tricky one with personal injury attorneys. Like I know really what you can do is like if you can find influencers in your market, and what you can do is you can go into like Instagram, for example, and you can search. There's a search function in Instagram. I actually created a video about this. Um, and what you can do is you can search for the top posts in from a specific location, and then you can sort it by like recent and stuff like that. Um, and you can click on them. You can see people that are in your area. So you can see people that had basically the most popular posts in Baltimore. And then doing that, typically the more followers they have, the more posts or the more popular the posts are going to be, just because by sheer number, if you've got 100,000 followers, more people are going to interact with it and engage with it. And just because you have so many followers, it's going to end up being a top post. So that's how you find who the influencers are. And then what you can do, it could literally be as simple as, send them a direct message and say, hey, I'll give you $50 to promote my stuff. Or I'll give you, something, I don't know, give you something to promote my stuff. Another thing you can do is if you see that like if you keep an eye on the influencer, if you see like an influencer like gets into a car accident or gets arrested or something like that, or you can reach out to them and ask them if they know anyone that they can tell any stories about, where they can tell a story about, hey, I got arrested and I talked to this attorney, and they can weave stories and somehow weave you into the story. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you represented them, but they could say, I got arrested and I talked to attorney John Smith, and he gave me some really interesting advice, and he told me that if you're arrested and you're pulled over for DUI or for suspicion of DUI, he said you should he told me that under some of these circumstances they can get the case the stop thrown out or whatever, like something like that, where basically you're not giving legal advice, but he tells a story about how he talked to you and made you the expert. And then at the end of it, you can say, if you have any questions, he's a really, really, really strong attorney, really knows his stuff, really helped me out a lot. Give him a call at 407-123-1234. You could do something like that. You could do, it depends how big you want to go with influencer marketing. An attorney named Dan Newland in Orlando just put on a Pitbull concert, which I believe that cost, somebody told me that was in the neighborhood of $650,000 is how much he spent. But Pitbull is a very big influencer, and using that influence and that fame and that level of celebrity to get his name out there. And I think they had like 20 or 30,000 people show up to that. Maybe it wasn't that big. It was pretty big because it was a free Pitbull concert. So a lot of different ways you can use influencer marketing. It's really basically the biggest thing is finding the influencers, which you do that by using the method that I told you. You go search for, one way you can do it is search for the top posts on Instagram in your location, and then see if they're from there, if they have a big followers. One thing you might want to avoid is the half naked women, because it's pretty easy to build a really big following if your entire account is just naked women. So that's probably not a really great audience for you. But it doesn't have to be huge numbers. Somebody that has 2,000 followers, but it's local to Chicago or local to your area or whatever, it might be worth tossing them $50 or $25 or just giving them like a Starbucks gift card or Outback Steakhouse gift card or something like that, just to get in front of their audience. Because you never know, especially like if you're okay, so if let's say you're a DUI attorney, right? And if you have somebody that's a college kid and you see a lot of pictures of them partying and all that type of stuff that they post on Instagram, then it might be worth it for you to give him $100 and have him promote you to his 2,500 local Chicago, frat brothers, because there's a good chance you might get a DUI or 2 cases out of that. It's just all about being creative and looking who's there, looking who's available, and then figuring out, okay, what can I offer them? Because, at the end of the day, you just have to think about what do they want, They want to leverage their account. If they have smaller, getting a phone call. If they have smaller listings, then they probably don't get asked that often, because in the grand scheme of things, like if I'm trying to do a national campaign, I'm not interested in somebody that has 2,000 followers. But if it's 2,000 college kids or 2,000, whoever it is of your direct market, then that might not be a bad way to do it. That might not be a bad way to tackle influencer marketing. So hopefully that helps.